Hey, good morning, good people. Travail C.W. Lynch, Mr. What? I am the possible. You are what's possible. And I help people to see, yes, see what they are so they can like what they see and be confident of their worth, your worth in this world. Listen, guys, this morning I want to share with you a reminder, right? Sometimes we don't need a big epiphany. We don't need the light bulb necessarily to go off, right? We don't need some big cosmic paradigm shift. Sometimes, man, we just need a reminder. And on this amazing Monday morning, this motivation Monday, this magnificent Monday, this miracle Monday, whatever you want to name it and frame it, man, I'm excited. But this is Monday morning. And for many of us, we are headed off to work. We are headed off to work. And we're either going virtually on to work or into work, or we're heading out, literally getting into the car and we're heading to work. And so I want to help us to see that we are a project. We are the greatest project that we will ever undertake, ever manage, ever oversee, and ever cooperate, right, with our creator to bring into completion. And the reason that I brought this up is because as one who works for a company where I oversee projects, I know many times that we're heading into the work day, into the work week, and we are overseeing many projects, whether it's deadlines, whether it's due dates, whether it's deliverables, right? All of my D's this morning. Many times, man, we can get wrapped up in seeing our worth through our work. And so I entitled today's message, Where's Your Worth? It's not that you don't have it. It's simply identifying where it is. And if you're anything like I used to be, and still to this day, many times, I can struggle too. At times, I haven't figured this thing all out and mastered it, right? But sometimes, man, we can lose sight that our worth is internal, that our worth began, originated in a position, a place that did not require our work. And we can get caught up in the things that we're doing, producing, creating, delivering, manufacturing, bringing to be in this world. And we can lose sight that our worth is not in those things, that those things don't define us. Right. Sometimes we can just lose sight because we're going so hard, we're grinding so hard, we're doing so much, we're producing so much that we lose sight that, our sense of significance, our worth and value to ourselves, right? Our ability to see it, right, where it matters most. Sometimes we can lose sight, guys, and we can begin to think that the value that we bring, because we always talk about bringing value, adding value, right? That's a catchphrase, right? Adding value. Everyone wants to add value. And many times the adding of value can overshadow the fact that you are the value, right? You are the value. You're the value that God brought to this world, and you are a contribution in and of yourself, right? And so I just wanted to remind you of two things as you enter this work week. Now, in the description of this video, you can get a little bit more information really around what I'm trying to communicate and share. But there's two quick things that I wanted to communicate verbally through this broadcast today. Number one, guys, your worth, it began in the mind of your creator. Again, not anything revolutionary, right? You guys have heard me say these things a million times, but I want it to be a reminder today. I want it to be a reminder. I wanted you to remember before you get into the projects, before you get into the work, before you get into the grind, before you get into the hustle and the bustle. I want you to be able to, right, be able to have worth and value and significance, right? High levels of self-esteem, high levels of self-value, high levels of self-worth, for that to be the start, not the finish. It's not once I get the project done, then I'll feel better about myself. It's not once I please my boss, then I'll feel better about myself. It's not once I get a million of things done off of my ever-growing laundry list and ever-growing errand list and ever-growing to-do list. Once I check everything, once I check all the boxes off, right? Once I accomplish all of this, then I'll feel great about me. There is an opportunity every single day of your life to wake up and start with worth. Start with significance, right? And if you're at a position in your life where you're not able to right now, start with significance. That significance is your starting block. It is your starting line, not the finish line. It's where you begin. It's where you start, right? And I want to share two quick passages with you this morning that would help you to maybe grasp something, right, about you. Again, just to trigger that memory, just to begin your day, just to begin your work, just to begin your projects, just to begin the things that you're investing your life into, right? Because we invest a lot of energy. We invest a lot of thought. We invest a lot of, as we say, blood, sweat, and tears into grinding and working and sweating and toiling to produce an end result. And many times, guys, we lose sight of the fact that we are an end result. You are a kind of end result, right? Remember, you began in the mind of your creator, in the mind of your inventor, right? You began in the mind of your inventor. That means that your worth is built in, right? It's woven within you. It came with you. It doesn't show up after you've done a million different things. It's already there. It's already present. But many times, like I like to say, it's not that your values, your worth, your significance, it's not that it's not there. It's just perhaps you've never seen it. And so that's why I'm so passionate about helping you to discover it and rediscover it and reinforce it even before your work week begins. So two things. Number one, Genesis chapter 1, it tells us, man, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm gonna flow with it, but it tells us that from the dirt, from the dust, from the clay, from the ground, God created man, formed and fashioned man. And we were statuesque. we were a lump of clay. We were formed. And then he blew the breath of life into us and we became a living being, right? That's the process, right? That's the project, right? Think about that, right? That's the work that went into it. But here's the catch. Here's the worth. The Bible tells us that he decided, right? The triune God decided, the 3-in-1 God decided. He had a conversation with himself and he decided, let us create man in our likeness, in our image, and let man do this and let man do that and let man have this and let man have that. Guys, all I want to remind you of is that you are a creation. You are a creation. So your worth began in the mind of your creator. That means you had worth, you had value, you had significance, you had a place, you had a position, you had a purpose, you had a plan long before you did anything. And that's what I want to communicate to you. It's not that hard work is bad. It's not that the grind is bad. It's not that doing big things in this world is bad. All of those things are great. Have at it. Do you. But speaking to the nation, I'm speaking to those out there who are dependent on their work ethic, their grind, their hustle, right? You are dependent like I was. That's why I can speak to you, because I'm speaking to me. I'm speaking to the older version of me, right? I get it, guys. I get it that you want to hustle hard and grind hard and have this amazing work ethic because you can tell the world all the things you did, all the things you're doing, all the things you're about to do. And you invest so much of yourself in what your hands are producing. And yet your heart continues to be void of a true sense, void of a true realization, right? Revelation, right? Inspiration, right? Of your worth apart from your work. Okay, guys, got to wrap it up. Number two, the Bible tells us that after we have sinned and fallen and messed things up and blah, 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 that God again thought to himself, okay, let's fix this thing. These people, they acting a fool. These people, they don't even call on my name. These people ain't even dealing with me. They ain't even checking for me. They ain't even calling on me. They ain't even loving me. They ain't even depending on me. They ain't even looking to me. They ain't even praying to me. They ain't even checking for my God out here. They ain't doing nothing for me, man. But I'm gonna send Jesus. I'm gonna send my only begotten son. I'm gonna send my only son. I'm gonna send him. to be a redeemer, to be a reconciler, to be a go-between, to be a redemption, to reconcile man with his creator, to bridge the gap, to bring us back into a relationship, to bring us back into the things that we lost. I'm gonna say that again, to bring us back into the things that we had lost sight of. See, if you read Genesis 3 and once we ate the apple and we sinned and we fell and all of this other mess, right? The first thing that we did was we began to depend on ourselves. It says that man wove, some loincloths and some coverings. Man began to do for himself out of a position of fear. And you began to grind. We began to grind out of fear. And then here comes God. And then we hide ourselves. We hide ourselves from his presence. But he's the same God that was walking with us in the cool of the day just the other day. He's the same God that had been providing all the things that we needed in the garden. Why? All of a sudden we're changing, we're hiding, we're doing for ourselves. And when God comes to check for us, our reply is, well, I hid, I heard you coming. Well, you always hear me coming. What changed? We lost sight of our value in his eyes. His appreciation for us never left. His appreciation for us, it never left. So what changed, y'all? What changed? Our perception changed. Our perception of his appreciation for us. That word appreciation, I know I'm saying a lot this morning, but that word appreciation means to be able to see, to perceive the value of, the worth of, right? How precious something is, how valuable something is, how amazing and spectacular something is, right? How rare and unique something is. And that's the perception that God has of us and had of us and continues to have of us, yet we lost sight. We were blinded to the facts, as we used to say. You're blind to the facts, baby. You're blind to the facts. We lost sight. We became blinded by our own deeds and doings, and we became dependent on our work. We became dependent on our hands to produce for ourselves. I don't have time to go into all of that, but I just wanted to kind of rewind the time real quick, just to kind of let you know where I'm coming from. So now fast forward, he sends Jesus, man. And here's the thing that I want to share with you about Jesus. This is what has always struck me to be so inspiring, so amazing, so powerful, so assuring, the anchor of my soul, right? Just the other day, or just the other week, I shared on a video. I did a prayer for my church, and I shared when my mother passed away. I shared the year that my mother passed away, and I was torn up, right? I was furious with God. I in many ways turned my back on the church. I was just isolated to myself. It was a season of depression. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to deal with nothing. I started to doubt God, and like he wasn't there with me. He didn't show up for me. Blah 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 blah. Right? Can you relate to getting to that point where you're just over it? Right. I don't want to hear nothing about no God because he ain't really checking for me like that, man. He didn't save my mom's, man. I prayed and he didn't save my mom's, man. What's up with that, God? Come on, God. Can I really trust you? Right. And the story goes that we took a trip to Boston, and it's early morning prayer. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on my knees and I'm praying and I'm crying out to God. And God tells me, I'm just kind of summarize really quick. God tells me, listen, son, as much as she was your mother, she was my daughter. As much as you loved her for those 40 or so years, I loved her first. And that whole process, right? It wasn't like he said, oh man, stop crying, get over it, dude. I'm God and she was with me and you just boo-hooing. No, it was this coming along with, man. It was this journeying with. It was this arm over shoulder. You know how a brother would put his arm over your shoulder and say, I got you, bro. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you, right? I'm with you. It was that sort of, I got you. I'm with you. But she was my daughter as much as she was your mother. She was my child, my creation, and I loved her first. And I love her more, right? Agape, right? Without conditions. I love her more than you could ever even imagine loving her. And so God in that moment, he was just basically saying to me, dude, I care. I'm with you. So why do I share all of that? Going back to Jesus, what always stood out to me when I read the story of God sending his son and Jesus coming and living and dying and living again for us is the fact that the Bible tells us that Jesus did this before we knew him. It's this idea that before we accepted God, before we accepted Jesus, before we accepted, before we were reconciled, before we did anything for him. See, sometimes even in the church, I'm talking to my church folks, dude, we can build crazy large ministries. We can open up satellite locations, man. We can increase and multiply and divide and conquer, and we can just take over whole cities, man. We can build huge buildings, man. I mean, we can do ministry all over the place, man. We can bring in millions of dollars. We can be on television, iPods, podcasts. I mean, we can spread that gospel, man. But here's the truth: before we lifted a finger, before we sat in the pews, before we stood in the pulpits, yeah, before we preached heaven down, before we prayed heaven down, before we did anything for him, man, he was checking for us. He was checking for us. And so in this reminder this morning, I want you to understand that before you was on your grind, before you was working hard, before you built your ministry, before you did your $1 million deal, before you was on TV, before you was on the radio, before you lifted one freaking finger to do anything for God, he died for you. And that tells me that you're worth something. You're worth something. That it ain't gonna be in your work. That your worth, where is your worth? Your worth is in the heart, in the mind, and the actions of your creator. And he is an anchor to a soul. That was my point in sharing with my mother. He became an anchor because he said, listen, dude, before any of this trial and tribulation, before any of this depression, before any of this, look at what I did for you. I stretched out. I stretched out for you. I stretched out for you. I hung my head for you. I gasped, took my last breath for you. Don't you dare doubt my love for you. Don't you dare doubt my love for you. This is the God that we get the privilege of serving, y'all. I didn't know I was going to go this deep. I didn't know I was going to flow like this morning, man, but it's cool. It's cool. Because somebody needed to hear it. Someone needs to know it. It's cool. Yeah. I'm yielding to his flow. I'm yielding to his flow, man. Number one, you are his creation. You are his creation. Your worth begins in his mind. And no one can change his mind. So your worth is stable. Your worth is stable. Your significance, it's stable. Don't let your work have you up and down like this. Have your value in this world like this. Your worth in this world like this. Don't you let your worth, your work, because you didn't do it on time. You didn't get it in on time. You didn't impress your boss. They didn't give you kudos. They didn't give you a amazing employee of the month award. Man, don't let that crap get in the way of you seeing your worth and your value. Don't depend on man. Don't depend on me. Don't depend on nothing. I'll fail you. I will fail you. I promise you. Don't depend on me. Don't depend on nothing. Don't depend on no man. Because we are like that, man, like the ocean, dude, ebbing and flowing, dude. We are all over the place. Catch us on the right day, we love you. Catch us on the wrong day, we hate you. He is the only source of stability. Okay? So number one, your worth is in the mind of your creator. And number two, don't forget the sacrifice that Jesus made for you. Don't forget that sacrifice. So as you head out for your day, wow, look at what he's already done. He made you and created you. And when we were lost, he sent his son to redeem and to pull you back. So guys, listen, Monday morning, let's get it. It's another week, another work week, another grind week, another business week for all of my entrepreneurs out there who ain't going to a job, but you're getting ready to do whatever you're doing for your business, and you're trying to hit that bottom line. You're trying to stay in the, what is it, in the black. The black is good. The red is bad, right? You try to stay in the black, right? You try to close your books for the year, whatever it is, man. But whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, I want it to be a reminder today for you that as you began this week, guys, trust and believe, right? That your worth is secure. It starts and it is in the mind and the heart of your creator. This is Travell C. W. Lynch. I am Mr. What? I am Mr. I Am the Possible. And you are Mr. and Mrs. I Am the Possible. Because everything that I share is not a for me thing. It's an us thing, right? We're the possible. You and your possibilities are one and the same. Everything you hope to be tomorrow, you already are today. So don't forget that. All right, let me hit my outro, man. Love y'all. Have a phenomenal week. Until next time, love y'all. Praying for you guys, believing in you guys. Peace.